Therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit.
The story of why I decided to do this is actually kind of funny, and yes, we are in my bathroom right now. That somehow felt appropriate for this video. I don't know, here we are.
I've seen a lot of positive talk about cold showers recently, and I saw a guy posted about his experience doing cold showers for a full year on Reddit, and I asked him for some advice. "It's just a shower," he said. I guess he had a point. So I decided to give it a shot.
Phenomenal.
Now, why would I do this to myself, especially when it's snowing outside? I hate the cold.
Well, first of all, many of us, not all of us, but many of us lead very comfortable lives in the developed world. I'll speak for myself here. All of my needs are pretty much always met. I never really have to worry about going hungry or being unsafe, and I recognize that many of my ancestors didn't have access to those sorts of luxuries, and many people in the world of today don't have access to those luxuries. So I do my best to be as grateful for these things as possible and not to take them for granted, but it is easy to fall into a comfortable life. And the problem with a comfortable life is that, for me, comfortable equals not growing and expanding.
Life sometimes demands great things from us. Live in your own bubble for long enough and you'll start to become like one of those people in WALL-E. I personally believe uncomfortable and challenging situations are good. They are what have shaped me to be the person that I am. So, if that's how that works, logically, my thinking is that the more I put myself in those kinds of situations, the more I'll grow. So, discipline. I think we all like the idea of discipline, but the word has an almost mythical quality for a lot of us. Like, where does it come from? How do you get it? I hear you can attain it if you meditate in the forest at 6 a.m. I think in reality, it's a lot simpler than that. It's just a shower. I knew I had to build things up or I wasn't going to stick with this new habit. I mean, I really wanted to take this seriously, you know? Failure was not an option. So my approach was to start off by setting the water right below lukewarm, so definitely not warm or hot, but also not shockingly cold, and lowering the temperature a notch or two every 30 to 60 seconds. I quickly realized that cold showers end up being fairly short, so within about 5 minutes I was out of there.
Alright. Nice and awake, alert, ready to tackle the day.
In an attempt to build up my tolerance, I would make sure that at least the last 10 to 20 seconds of the shower were freezing and I would count slowly.
Fortunately, I found that my body adjusted to the cold throughout the shower, and once I was at that stage, as long as I focused on controlling my breathing, I could handle it without too much of a problem.
You will find that if you set your mind on something, you are capable of much more than you think. It's just 5 minutes of cold water, I'll say to myself. I've done much harder things. I noticed 3 immediate perks of cold showers. 1, there's a sense of accomplishment.
I just did something that was a little bit challenging and that was optional. I didn't have to do it, but I did it anyway.
2, you feel wide awake, like I would definitely feel clear-minded, which is huge for me.
I mean, that's one of the main reasons I'm creating videos in the first place.
And 3, my internal body temperature would adjust, and I would feel naturally warm for the next few hours.
Which is nice, especially if you live in a cold place. In the beginning, it was definitely challenging. Before every shower, I would get this pang of like, I don't want to do this. However, by week 2, I want to say, I started to build up a streak that I didn't want to break, and I almost started looking forward to these showers because of all the benefits that I just mentioned. Like, the shower itself wasn't enjoyable yet, but all of the benefits that came like afterwards were worth it. And then even that changed because I started to enjoy the cold itself. Believe it or not, cold showers started to become a way for me to give myself a natural boost and to like dive back into work. It really did feel like a natural alternative to like a cup of coffee or something along those lines.
Another interesting thing happened. My relationship to the cold has changed. The cold doesn't need to be this evil thing to avoid at all costs. It's not something you have to necessarily shy away from. It can be a positive thing, something that pushes you, that sharpens the senses a little bit.
What I found in the last month is that I just had to build things up slowly, and now I have no plans to stop taking cold showers, which I never thought I would say. So just a couple of final notes. I did not use the Wim Hof method. I think it's super interesting and helpful, but also not necessary. That's something that I might explore more in the future, but for this, I found that as long as I took deep breaths and maintained a control and focus on my breath, that I was all right. Also, I just want to reiterate really quickly that I think it's important to build things up according to comfort level. It is important, I think, to be a little bit uncomfortable, but I would really warn against doing anything extreme and turning yourself off from the potential of exploring a really cool new habit. The way I kind of see things is that if this improves your life even by like 2%, that's so worth it. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. I have a lot more coming soon that I'm really excited to share on the topics of mental clarity and building good habits and productivity. I've also posted a behind the scenes video on my Patreon, sharing a little bit more what went into creating this.
Okay, I just reviewed my footage and I think I'm showing too much thigh. So we're gonna reshoot this one more time.
This was a really fun piece to work on. I'm trying to push my creative boundaries and really elevate the quality of my videos. So yeah, anyway, follow me on social media and I will see you soon. All right, well, that was fun. You can leave the bathroom that way. I would appreciate my privacy again. Thank you. Thanks for understanding. Okay, God it.